Welcome to my astrology channel with a new name. We're now calling it Angelic Astrology, formerly Joe's Astrology. There's just too many Joes out there. And my middle name is Angelo, so that's what I'm going with. Here we have Ryan Reynolds, the actor who pretty much does everything. And he's a sun in Scorpio at 0 degrees there, and a moon in Scorpio, and a Virgo rising. The first thing I want to look at is this sun, north node, and moon in Scorpio in the second house of values, material goods, the Taurus house. And I've seen this before with some other people I've looked at. Specifically, Grant Cardone has a similar stellium on the North Node in Scorpio, and he's a big money guy. And this guy here attracts, you can see Ryan Reynolds, he gets around, he attracts money. This guy has to have a ton of money. And he's also been married, I think, 3 times. So we'll get into that as well. Very big Mercury in the chart. Mercury heavily emphasized. We see, along with this Taurus stuff, he has Jupiter at 29 degrees retrograde in Taurus in the ninth house, Sagittarius house. So lots of emphasis on Jupiter and Venus there. Venus being the ruler of Taurus, 29 degrees, that anaretic to critical degree, and Jupiter being retrograde, indicating some redoing of something that has to do with Jupiter and the sign Taurus there. And of course, the Jupiter is aspecting this little stellium here down in Scorpio as well. And Venus is aspecting that Jupiter. It's in almost an exact opposition at 3 degrees in Sagittarius, the sign that is ruled by Jupiter. So there's that. And as I said, this guy gets around. He's been married 3 times. I don't think he's married right now. He's been an actor. He's very heavily involved in advertising, businesses, philanthropic endeavors. And you look at this chart and you see a person who's a person who associates these kinds of things with selfish behavior, or a selfish person. And that could be true. I don't know if I look at it like that anymore. It's more like just describing a life, and the person is just taking a trip in a sense. Now, of course, they do have choices, but only if they're aware of them. So this person might not even think of himself as being selfish. And of course, if he doesn't think of himself as being selfish, then there's no need to change. I mean, if he's getting involved in working with organizations and helping people, in his mind, he's not a selfish person. So anyway, I mentioned all that to say he has Pluto in the first. His Mercury is there close in the second in this chart. Whole sign it's the second, but in this chart, Pluto in the first. So he's coming from this first house, or Aries, first house Aries place, which is a very selfish placement, sign, house. And we look at his south node is in Taurus in the 8th. And this, from what I've seen, is also can be perceived as a very selfish place as well, because it is the Scorpio house. And I've seen people, they're just with like moon in the 8th and other placements in the 8th, where they're just very thinking of the self. It could be they're very dependent as well. It's not just that they're selfish in the sense of like, I'm going to get mine. It's all about me. It's just that they're very dependent on other people, and that from that sense, it becomes that they become very self-involved because they're so dependent on other people. So there's that, and where he's coming from. This is Pluto in the first. We're looking at evolutionary astrology here, and then the eighth in Taurus as well. We think of Taurus and Scorpio both as being very selfish because, from the Taurus standpoint, because they tend to people with heavy Taurus placements tend to cling on to their material goods and cling on to things in general, and that can be perceived as very selfish. So that's where he's coming from, and then you see the opposite, the polarity of the first is the seventh. So of course, he's going to be forced into his seventh house. You see that with the marriages, the relationships, and the marriage is not working out, kind of coming back to the first. It's back and forth play between these two houses. And then where he's headed, Scorpio in the second, same thing there. You see the south node in Taurus. This idea of being, Jeffrey Wolf Green calls it the frog in the well syndrome. I'm not exactly sure the whole how it's said, but he calls it the frog in the well syndrome, I believe, where the person really needs to be forced out of that hole into the world. And you see that there in Scorpio. We don't see any planets in the seventh to show that those marriages and really all of the relationships that he's got himself into, business and otherwise, because this guy is in a sense, a relationship. What would you call that? A serial relationship person, in a sense. We see he's known for being in the midheaven there. He's got Gemini in the midheaven. Just this guy getting around. But you do see it with the North Node in Scorpio. If we look at the nodes from the Taurus Scorpio side, there's this heavy emphasis on Scorpio. So it's one of those very confusing charts that you really have to have an open mind when you're looking at it and not be so black and white. Because this would show that he has attempted to get out of his shell, out of himself, the first house, and get out there. And even if you look at the seventh, the ruler is Pisces, and it's the sign is Pisces, and the ruler is Neptune, and Neptune is there in the third. It's kind of near the fourth house cusp. It's emphasized. It's with Venus. It's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's at 29 degrees, and then on and on and on. So you can kind of see, even though there's no planets in the seventh, you see that activity through the ruler. And without getting into anything else, coming back to this Mercury that rules his ascendant. It's there close to the first. It's in Libra. It's ruled by Venus. So you can see this guy there's emphasis on Mercury and Venus. This mental activity for what? For Taurus stuff. Venus. For good fortune, for money, for the good things of life. And then the midheaven is also ruled by Mercury, as I mentioned. So this could be a guy who's very restless. I did read that he deals with anxiety in his regular life, not when he's acting and performing, but in his real life he deals with anxiety, which could be why he, again, going back to this selfish thing, maybe it's not that. It could be because of this anxiety. Why does he do so much? Because of the anxiety. Because as he said, when he's performing, whether it's, you think of acting or advertising or working in business, it's all performance. And when he's doing that, he doesn't have the anxiety. So that could be a reason why he would do so much and would do all these money producing activities to keep him busy. And the last thing I'm going to mention is Saturn in Leo in the 11th. And of course, his Uranus is with the moon, his Uranus is with Mars. And it's making a square to that Saturn, and Saturn is in the 11th. So there's a lot of Uranian activity too, which can speed up things with the mind and make a person have to deal with, or cause a person to have to deal with anxiety as well. And of course, Saturn being the work, could be considered the work, the career, and it's in Leo. So we see the acting and the comedy as well, not just the acting, but the comedy. He's associated with doing a lot of comedies. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching and have a great day.